Okay. All right, we're live. I'm Sherry coming at you live from OP and the Big D. I'm in Dallas. Tammy, where are you at?
I'm in Minneapolis.
Wow, all right. So happy 420, everybody.
420.
If you don't know what 420 is, I actually had to look it up. I mean, I knew what it meant, but I didn't know the origin. And it started with 5 high schoolers in California in like 1971. It was their code to say, "Hey, let's go smoke weed after school."
Yes, every day at 420.
You know what's crazy? I kept reading. It is not just an American term. It is worldwide. Like they celebrate it in London. So I can't believe it. It's crazy. All right. If y'all are joining us live, say hi in the comments. And if you have any questions along the way, just let us know. But let's go ahead and I want to get into Supersnouts and Tammy, and where you been, what you done. Who's Tammy with Supersnouts?
Well, thank you for having me as always. I feel like this is my standing 420 event with you every year. This is my second year in a row.
All right, we'll do it next year too.
We will. So I'm Tammy with Supersnouts. I'm the national sales director for the company. And I've been in the pet industry, I want to say for like 15 years. It's a long time. I started really young. I mean, I was probably 15 when I started. And no, I wasn't 15, but I've been with Supersnouts for a little over a year. So it's been super fun because we have a full line of obviously our CBD products, which we're talking about today. But we also have a full supplement line that doesn't have any CBD. So we just have a lot of pet products to offer. Christy and Don, the owners of our company, are fantastic. They started out with this little product you can kind of see up here. Firm Up is really how the company started. Well, I have a bag here. I'll show it to you.
I was wondering what the first product was. Was it Firm Up?
It was this one.
I love it. I use it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Firm Up is a pumpkin powdered product so that pet parents can always have it on hand. So it has a shelf life of 2 years. So you never know when you're going to have that digestive upset as a pet parent. They might have eaten something or done something where they're having constipation, diarrhea. And so that's the first product that Christy came up with and said, why am I sending people to the store to buy canned pumpkin and they're throwing half of it away? So super innovative, really looking at ways to cut, down on like waste of cans and utilizing only half of it. So this you can scoop some out, put it on the food, and it takes care of it. So,
and let me tell you, it works. It may work even better than the canned stuff. So
yeah, it's fantastic. So that was the first product, and I want to say about 3 years ago, launched into the world of CBD, and has just really, as a company, just following the innovation. And hopefully, your customers and people watching today, that's what they're going to take away, is that Supersnouts is really about the innovation and what's new and what's going to work best for your pet. So I'm excited to chat with everybody today. Hopefully we get good questions too.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're watching this in replay and you're not watching live, you can always message Odyssey Pets and with any questions, and I will get back with you on that. So what is CBD?
Yeah, so CBD is one of more than 400 compounds found in the cannabis plant. And it is a non-psychoactive part of the plant. So that's where people, we're talking about 420. Those people weren't smoking CBD, but this is actually the component that does not have any benefits that make you high. It has other medicinal benefits that are fantastic, but it does not have that THC in there that is going to make a pet high from the product. That's probably a really good thing to note, is that some people think, well, I'm giving them CBD, is it making my pet high? It's not the same thing. So legally, a hemp plant is where we're getting our CBD from. A hemp plant can only have 0.3% THC in that plant, and a marijuana plant has over 0.3%. So that's where they're a little bit different, is that structurally, obviously, the integrity of the plant is grown different. So all of our stuff is coming from hemp, and all of it has, legally has to have under that 0.3% THC. One of the things that we do different, obviously, is we remove 100% of that THC. So that's a really cool thing. Like, one of the things that makes our company different is we're removing 0.00% of that THC. So there's none in there. And if anyone's interested as to why, really it has to do with the fat cells, so that THC can hold in the pet's fat cells. And if they have a big exertion of energy, so let's say you have a lazy dog and you've been giving them CBD for joint issues or anxiety, all that THC can release at once. So we as a company take that out so that we don't have any of that that's kind of building up in those fat cells.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is it beneficial? I just want to go over what ailments, what do you use it for?
Yeah. So a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, why does everyone think it works for everything? Well, because it kind of does. So it works in the endocannabinoid system. So what that is basically you have different receptors. Our pets do, our bodies do. And so these different receptors sit all over your body. And so CBD actually is working in those receptors to actually help block overactive metabolic enzymes. So that's why it can work from anything like anxiety to inflammation, pain, digestion issues, skin and coat, your mood. So because of those receptor sites in that endocannabinoid system, and it's so diverse all over, it really can work all over where there isn't balance and harmony. So that's what CBD is trying to do, is go into that endocannabinoid system and create balance back into a system that's over or under reacting, if you will.
That's awesome. I know. It's like a cure-all. It's great.
Yeah. So that's a kind of fancy way to describe disease. But if you think about, overactive or underactive, so think about anyone with immune issues, right? Underactive immune system. It's going to help bring that immune system back into harmony and balance. So that's where it's really cool, is that it can be used for a magnitude of things. The one thing people
allergies too. Yes.
Our hempen shroom is fantastic for putting those medicinal mushrooms. If anybody needs to,
Yeah.
Yes. So the hempen shroom is great because we're adding those medicinal mushrooms in there, and mushrooms are immunomodulators, so they can take that under or over reactive immune system and they can bring it back into balance. Compiled with that CBD, it's like a power punch for allergy issues. One thing that people want to remember is we do have some that are situational, right? So like we say, for situational, people can use the chill out. They can use this obviously daily if they need to, but with CBD, you really want that pet parent. As a pet parent, you want to use it every day. So you really want, if you have an anxious dog naturally, and let's say they have a flare up because they're going to the groomer, you want to make sure that you're keeping that level of CBD in their system and in their bloodstream, so that you're keeping it at a nice level balance, so that it is actually going in and doing what it's supposed to do, and creating that balance and harmony on a daily basis. That's why also we say administering twice a day.
Yeah. So real quick, I was going to share my story with it. I have a dog with a collapsed trachea, and really the only thing they can do for that type of thing is really awful medication that he hated, that's I think bad on the liver, or a surgery that may not work. So that costs like $4,000. So I just started using CBD, and it worked better than the medication they gave me. I mean, he still, has episodes of coughing, but it has definitely helped. And I've started doing it twice a day now instead of once, because it does wear off, right?
It does. So when you think about it's all going into the bloodstream, right? So you want that healthy level of CBD in that bloodstream, because you want it to not completely like give you this where, okay, now we're in here and it's working, and then this fall off. So you constantly are doing this. You want to be able to kind of where it's going up, and before it gets all the way to the point where there's none left in the bloodstream. And that's why we say administering twice a day is really something that you want to do instead of once a day, because it does wear off, and you want to keep a healthy level of that in the bloodstream.
So this segues into how to use it. And I have a question. So
Yeah.
what if so you have a recommended dosage on there, right? What if you do more than that? Because I'm actually double dosing my Chihuahua because I didn't see any results with
Mhm.
the recommended dosage.
Right. So CBD is one of those things where that's a guideline on the package. So a lot of people think of it like medicine, right? My doctor tells me I take one tablet and one tablet, or and so people want that kind of regimented guideline. With CBD, it's one of those things where you need to see how your pet's reacting, right? If you're noticing good results with the suggested dose on the container, then you want to stay there. If you're like, I don't feel like I'm seeing anything, you can dose up and there's not going to be any issues. So, with the chill out, that's a really great example. Some people are like, okay, well, on the regulated dose, I'm not really seeing, I'm not seeing them kind of get this calmness. Well, when they're to the point of sleeping, then maybe you maybe gone too far and you want to back that up a little bit.
Yeah, they're just going to get sleepy if you accidentally give them too much.
That's right. So this isn't something where a pet can overdose. There's not anything in here. Obviously, if someone eats an entire canister, you do want them to call their vet, but it does have to go through the bloodstream. Um, it does have to go through the bloodstream and kind of work itself out. So again, like administering, that is a guideline. You may not even need as much as what's suggested, but you may need over what's suggested for your pet. So
Right.
it's kind of playing around with that. Obviously, the oils, those are going to happen quicker, right? So administering those in the lining of the mouth, if you can get your pet to hold it there, which I have not seen a pet hold it there for 90 seconds. But that's going to happen quicker. The water soluble products that we have, that would be like our soft chews and our gel caps, and we're coming out with our new water soluble tincture. I'll show you in a sec if you want to see it. Those go and process through the gut and liver. So that's going to take about, that 35, 45 minutes to
So
process. Yeah. Yep.
that's what a chew looks like. And I give half of one of those to my Chihuahua, and it's soft. It just breaks apart super easy.
Yep.
So
And it doesn't crumble apart into a million pieces, which I love too.
but you can if you want, because
Yes.
for a time he was like, I don't want to eat this. So I would just crumble it up on top of his food and then he'd eat it.
We have a lot of cat people who do that. So like with cats, they're like, oh, I'm not going to even try to get an oil down their throat, right? Not going to, like, in their mouth, not going to happen. But if they finally crumble that soft chew, it's beef flavored. So generally, like, cats will, take to it if it's mixed in with the food.
Right. So I want to simplify everything for everybody. You've got the oils that have been fat soluble up until now, and we'll talk about that, which means you have to put it directly onto a mucous membrane. So you need to squirt it directly into the mouth, and then withhold water, like you think like 20, 30 minutes, just so it has time to soak in.
Yep. So water and food, 20, 30 minutes. So you can administer it before feeding. And it really needs to hold in that submucal lining for 90 seconds. So really, it's not even like a squirting it in their mouth. When you think about it, it has to sit in that submucal lining. That 90 seconds is when it's getting into the bloodstream. So the mouth is obviously a fat soluble environment, and that's why we're suggesting that. As humans, we can do that, right? But for pets, it's not that. I've never seen a pet hold it in their mouth for 90 seconds.
Right. And I have had customers that, I'll try to explain all this to them, and then they go home and they put it on a treat, and then they give the dog the treat.
Or they put it in the food. Yeah.
or in the water. And I'm like, it's not doing anything. You're going to be better off buying the chews There's also peanut butter that you guys have, and then the balm.
Gel cap. The balm's actually an oil because your skin can absorb, you know, the fat soluble. Our gel caps are the other one that are, let me get them out here. My fancy display kind of squeezes them in there. These, the Phyto Gel Caps, so these are water soluble as well. In here, there's 10 milligrams for every capsule. So like if you were doing one of the soft chews, there's 5 milligrams of water-soluble CBD. In here, these are great for larger dogs that are going to or maybe need more CBD. And they can, they can compile that with our shrooms for allergy issues. They compile that with the joint power for, to make their own hempen joint as an example. So there's things that they can do to, bundle items together.
I want to back up real quick though. The reason that the dog can eat this or the cat can eat this and it works is because you guys have used water nano emulsion technology.
That's right.
Unlike almost every other CBD company on the market.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're actually getting the benefit. Their body is able to use it. And am I right in saying that the because it's water soluble in this format, it's actually more effective than the oil?
It is. So when you administer an oil, and we were just talking about this, right? You're not getting your pet to hold that in their mouth for that 90 seconds. So what happens? They swallow it, right? Well, what is your gut? It's a water environment. And so once they swallow that, it's back to that old analogy of oil and water don't mix. And I'm going to show you something, actually. I'll show you a little demo, okay?
I hope I spelled that right.
This is going to help. You did.
Soluble looks really funny. Okay.
I know it does. So I'm going to take, I've got 2 little jars here. And I'm going to show you what happens. So the jar, this little tube is representing the gut and liver of your pet, okay? So when I, or someone, one of your watchers administers the oil, now this is anyone's CBD oil, not just ours, it's everybody's because it's a fat soluble product. And let's say that pet, I'm going to put some in here, right? So my pet just swallowed it. They just swallowed it. Like, yeah, I'm thinking it's working. I'm going to put my cap on because God forsaken it go on my keyboard. So this is what's happening. So your pet is swallowing that, and oil and water don't mix. So they don't mix. And what's happening is
pick up your animal and shake them a little.
Right. And even if you did that, it's not working. So what's happening is they're only getting about 10%, 10 to 12% of the bioavailability from an oil.
Wow.
Wow. So think about that for everyone watching, how expensive oils are. They're great for humans because we can hold them in our mouth. But with your pet, what are they doing with this? They're expelling it. So when you have something that's water soluble, and I'll note this is new technology to the pet industry, but not the human supplement world. So supplements, human supplements virtually are all water soluble. So again, new jar, new little test tubey. Again, this is my gut and liver, and I'm going to show you our cool new product. So this is the new water soluble tincture. And this is
you guys, this is just it's just hitting the market, and it'll be on the shelves next month.
Yes.
And are you guys the first ones to do a water soluble oil?
The first, yes.
That's amazing.
This is a water soluble product. And what it is so we took the technology that are in all of our soft chews and that bioavailability, and what we did is we put it in a tincture. So now you can put it on a biscuit, you can drop it on the food, you can put it in their mouth. I'm going to show you the product, so hopefully you guys can see it here. It looks like a really just like a whole like milky substance. It's not maybe like 2% milk. So I'm going to put this into my jar, and it's going to happen fast.
So I got a question. If you put it in their water bowl, will it stay good, or will it?
I wouldn't recommend the water bowl because you do want them to get it. So this is what you're going to see.
Right, you want like the full dose.
You
Yeah.
want the full dose all
Yeah.
at once. So what you're seeing here is in the gut and liver, when you're giving a water-soluble product, unlike an oil, they're getting 8 times more bioavailable from the CBD than they are the standard oil with the water-soluble technology. And so we're super excited for our tinctures. We've had it in our soft chews all along, but it's really fun to actually have a tincture product where people can utilize it in a lot of different ways and still get the benefits for their pet. Some people will be on an oil and they'll switch to water soluble and say, oh my goodness, why is my pet, like, why am I seeing such significant results? I've had them on CBD. And it's just the way the body processes it. If it's oil, they're only utilizing about 12%. When it is that water soluble technology, it processes and it's able to go through the gut and liver.
Yes.
So,
That's
pretty cool.
yeah. It is really cool. And now, because some people, if the dog doesn't want to eat this,
Yeah,
they can take that and put it on their own treat.
that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And so these are the flavoring is vegan chicken. So it is plant-based flavoring to taste like chicken. I have tasted it. I don't know if I taste chicken, but I don't necessarily taste plants either. So,
Yes,
but it
I've
is.
I've put the oils in my mouth before, and it tastes like a weird grass. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. They have a very earthy flavor,
Yeah.
very earthy flavor. So that's something new that's coming to add to our water soluble. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this company is all about innovation, technology, educating, and I hope everybody watching today really now visually sees when we say water soluble, this is what we're talking about. That you are going to get so much more benefit for the price that you're paying for these products if you're choosing a water soluble product.
So, are the new ones that are coming out that are water soluble, are they going to be about the same price point?
Yeah, so they're identical to the oils.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
Nice.
Yes, so
Nice.
same price point. So so that's, we're making it something where a consumer can choose if they want the water soluble or they want the oil. Um, and again, soft chews are really fantastic because dogs, they're getting it like a treat. Something with the nano size water soluble products is we're not putting any temperature to it. So one of the things that really makes us different as well is we don't make cookies, we don't bake biscuits. None of our soft chews are heat processed. So they're all cold pressed. So you don't really want to feed your pet something that's been heat processed because you're just denaturing the integrity of the CBD. You start destroying some of the cannabidiols or some of the cannabidiol when you get to over 240. So when you look at
Right.
things that have oil biscuits, right? So like CBD biscuit that has made of oil, um, or the oil itself, and you're dropping it in the mouth, just remember this visual.
Yeah.
That's what's
Yeah.
happening.
No, I'm just going to be frank with everybody. I have probably at least two cannabis, like CBD companies
Mhm.
in the pet industry approach me weekly
Yep.
to carry their product. There's thousands of companies out there.
Yes.
And I ask them every time, because they'll show me some type of bag of biscuits that has the CBD in it. And I'm like, well, did you use nano emulsion technology? How did you process that so that the gut can actually use the CBD and not destroy it?
Right.
And they just have this like
It's
deer
a
in the
deer. Yeah.
headlights look on
Yeah.
their face. And I'm
And
just like,
it's
and
a
they're
really
charging,
feel good product, right? Like people think,
yeah,
oh, I'm giving them a biscuit that's got this benefit and it's so great. But really, like science shows you, it doesn't work like that.
yeah.
So they're
And they're
just
charging like
expensive biscuits.
30 to $40 for these bags of biscuits
Yes.
that are going to do nothing.
Nothing.
So
Mhm.
that's another reason why I love Supersnouts. And I know we already talked about it,
Yeah.
but it's all human grade.
Yes.
Um, y'all do your research. You
Yes.
have great educational information on your website.
Mhm.
Um, you're always there if I have a question. I just love Supersnouts. So
Thank
is there anything
you.
you can
Thank
add to
you.
that?
We love you too. Just talking again, like we're not, we're cold processing everything. So don't look for a cookie biscuit with oil in it, right? It's not going to work. We're doing the right thing by the pet parents, right? We want to create that innovation and technology and really like when you're paying for these products, you want them to work. And we want them to work. So that's why we do use the water-soluble nanotechnology. We're one of the only companies that does. We
Because
cold
it costs
process.
more. It costs
It
more.
does.
And a
It
lot of
does.
these companies that are selling these CBD products don't want to pay that extra money.
They
You know,
don't. You need to take the actual oil itself and put it through a process to create tiny droplets. And I can actually show you the product if you want to see it in its raw
yeah.
form. I feel like it's
By the
just
way, everybody, I don't know if anybody has commented, but my phone comments are not working. But I'm looking at the comments through StreamYard, and I'm not seeing any. So I apologize if anybody has commented. I can't see it, so I'm sorry. Message me later.
So when it's in its pure form, when we put it in our treats, this is really what water-soluble CBD looks like. So it looks just like a powder, right? When you look at that,
Wow.
it's like a powder. And it does the identical thing in the water. If I dropped some of this powder in the water, you would see it just melt and disintegrate in there. And so you actually have to put the oil droplet itself through a process, and it goes into sound waves. So it's not a chemical process, but it is acoustic cavitation. And what that does is it takes those oil droplets and it expands them to a place where they burst into tiny little droplets. So what we're doing is we're changing the size of the molecule of the oil droplet. So that's how water soluble is able to penetrate on a cellular level versus like an oil, is that it is a smaller size molecule. So it's
That's
really,
so
really cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. So the other thing we do that liquid chromatography. This is a process, again, that's expensive. There's not a lot of places that do this. It is the process that removes the THC to 0.00%.
I was going to say earlier, I didn't want to interrupt you though, that I've seen other CBD pet products on the market, the oils that
Mm-hmm.
do have like 0.01%
Mm-hmm.
in there. And they're like, well, you can't get the rest, you can't get that 0.01 out. And I'm like, really? You
Mm-hmm.
sure?
Yeah, yeah. When you get down to like, 0.0001, like, then we're talking like, okay, you might not be able to get that out, but 0.00, we're removing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So the other thing too is that we test every batch. This is probably the biggest thing. We test every single batch of what we're doing. We
Is that
give
what
the
the
consumer,
QR, the
yeah,
QR
this
code was?
cool. Yep, QR code. They can scan it right in the store. But we're giving two test results, and this is what's important, is that we're giving them the raw material, right? So what we pulled from the plant, and then we're also giving them the finished product because there's a carrier oil in here, right? So you want to see those two sets of results as a consumer because that first set's going to show you things like heavy metals. It's going to show you any kind of like toxins that might have been in the soil, molds, anything that is going to affect or could have been pulled from the soil. The one thing that we have too is we are now USDA certified organic in our products, in the oils. We couldn't do that because of chromatography before because it wasn't an organic process, and now have figured out how to do that. So you want to make sure you're choosing a high quality CBD, because the plant itself can actually take good, bad, every kind of nutrient and pull it from the soil. So hemp actually is like a cleaner of the soil, a phytoremediator. And what that means is that, think of somewhere where there's really toxic land, chemical spills, oil spills, and that hemp plant will actually pull all of that from the soil and actually clean the soil. So you want to be really sure we're not talking about $5 gas station CBD here. We're talking about thoughtful, USDA organic, tested, certified. Test results are given for all of the products that we're manufacturing. So very, very different. Yeah, very different.
I actually can see a couple comments now.
Okay.
So, good. We have one question. We rescued a dog from the highway, and he's very skittish and anxious to where he will make himself vomit. He's getting better at it, but as he's trusting us. But what would be a good item to give him? He's 40 pounds.
So for daily.
Yeah. Sorry, you go first.
You go. I want to see what you say.
Because I had a 35-pound cattle dog that was a senior, and I gave him the soft chew every day just because it's so easy, and he just ate everything. But I also have this toy called a chili penguin, and it's like a Kong, but it's flat, so you can put liquids in it. And I would take the peanut butter with the CBD in it, put that in there, freeze it, and then give it to him, and he's like, "Oh, this is an amazing treat." Kept him busy. Plus, it has the CBD, so that would be something fun to do. Yeah,
and that action of like licking, right, is really calming and soothing for our pets. So even like a lick mat, if you're putting that peanut butter with a little yogurt, you're freezing it, or in like we have booba horns, right? So like I make a mixture of peanut butter and pumpkin and Greek yogurt for Rosa, and I shove it in there and freeze it, so it takes a little bit longer for her to get it out. That's a really good action to keep them busy, but also calm them at the same time. And specific product, I would choose Plain Jane daily. And if there's situational, like you're going in the car, that might be a day where I would give Chill Out, or whatever makes them nervous or have more anxiety. That's when I would choose maybe the Chill Out, but I would on a daily basis do the Plain Jane.
That's a great recommendation. For my senior dog, I was doing this one because the shrooms help with inflammation. The CBD helps with inflammation. Great for the joints. And just any other inflammation that's happening that you can't see. So
and here's the thing, like the cool part is like Plain Jane doesn't have any other functionals in there. Doing the shrooms, you're getting all of the benefits plus some. So that's probably even a better recommendation than the one I gave is the hemp and shroom, being it is a senior dog. There's so many good benefits for adding mushrooms.
Oh, right. Oh, I don't know if the dog she got is senior, but yeah, for my senior dog, that's what I do for my old guys. No, I think that the Chill Out would probably be a really good recommendation for you. She says thank you. All right. Cool. Well, we don't have many watchers, but if you are watching and you want to win this free tube of, I've got hemp and joint. I got a ton of these, so sorry, that's all I have to give away right now. So let me go to, okay. So if either of you are still watching, I know a lot of people watch this in replay, but if you had watched live, you would have been able to win possibly win this tube of hemp and joint. Let's see. I had a couple questions in my head, but I'm trying to pick one. What is the technology called that takes the oil from fat soluble to water soluble?
That's a good one. Can I win?
I know. I'm just waiting for it's a tough one because you can't really Google that one.
It's a tough one because you said it the word more than I did.
Yeah. All right. If you don't know that one, why is it called 420?
There's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's called water nano emulsion technology. I know it's hard to remember, but I say it like every day. So
yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. She had a good guess, cold pressing. But
Oh, that's really good guess.
that is because you cold press your treats.
We do.
Right? Yes,
And no
instead of
low
applying
temperature.
heat. So that's awesome. All right, Shalane, you win.
Yay.
Thank you so much for watching. And this has been streamed to YouTube as well. So hopefully all this helpful information will get to the right people. And if y'all want to do any more research, it's supersnoutshempcompany.com. And they have more products than just CBD, but today's 420, so that's what we were talking about. Is there anything you want to add before I wrap it up?
No, I think that were we doing a promo today?
Oh yeah, well in my store I do have dollars off on the oils and the chews, but it's only for today. We are open 2 more hours. So
there you go then. That's all I had. I thought we were doing a promo, so I wanted to shout it out.
No,
Thank
that's
you
good.
for having me as always.
So yeah, if y'all want to follow, we do run some cool promos. So check it out on our Facebook page is where those quick promos go. And if you want to sign up for our newsletters, I do put our most of our sales in that, and you can just text OP Big D to 22828, and that'll get you on our newsletter. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much again, Tammy.
Thank you so much. I love coming and chatting with you.
And I just love educating everyone on how we can better serve our pets. So,
yeah, me too. And I think that, like seeing a visual of like oil and water soluble, I think is really helpful because it's like, I don't know, I'm such a visual person that hopefully that little demonstration helped, people understand the difference today.
I liked it. It reminded me of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I need a nickname then.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.